$1 million. $1 million a lot. Of course, it's a lot. It's an enormous amount of money. Is it a lot to you? Do you think that $1 million is a lot of money? What is a lot of money to you? Just think about it for a second. It's $1 million. Is that a lot? How much is a lot of money? 2008, the whole financial collapse, crisis, whatever, Great Recession, it broke a lot of our brains. And when I say a lot of ours, I mean mine, in terms of numbers, in terms of big numbers, because for sure, a billion used to be a lot, but there was a lot of billions moving around to lots of different places. And that's sort of watered down. Not, it got rid of million, like, oh, nothing, pittance. And then it started to water down a billion. I remember when like Warren Buffett and Bill Gates were the billionaires. And now Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos and some of these folks are worth like trillions of dollars. It's like, okay, these numbers don't even make any sense. And the amount of our deficit and the amount that we send to other places and spend and it makes our kind of head swim. And again, when I say our, I mean my. It is boggling. So what's important here is $1 million a lot of money, and it is a lot of money. In a lot of ways, I think that $1 million is an essential amount of money. If you ever desire to step away from full-time employment to be able to do that financially, I think that $1 million is in a lot of ways going to be the ticket to doing that. It's going to be table stakes. It's going to be the required minimum to get into the game, especially with inflation and everything else that's going on. Not that that's going to last forever. Who knows what's going to happen? I don't know. And that's kind of the key, is we don't know what's going to happen. But I do know that we need to save a lot more money than we are currently saving. And I'm agnostic. I'm agnostic when we talk about what it is that you are wanting to invest in. If you want to invest in cryptocurrency or NFTs or real estate in a verse of some kind, or you want to invest in gold or start businesses, I don't care. You just need to accumulate assets that can then become an income producing asset, because I don't want necessarily $1 million, which I'll circle back on that for a second. What got me on this, there was a Wall Street Journal article recently, which I will link in the notes, talking about how the number of millionaires, the number of people with $1 million inside of their 401k account increased by 25% in 2023. So obviously, due in part to stock market performance, but also due in part to the amount of money that people actually save. So contribution amounts and rates and all that kind of stuff. So I think that that's a super positive thing. So I know the people that I've interacted with, lots of people that just do not believe that it's possible to make money in the stock market. And that is what it is. If you think that that's true, then it's probably going to be true for you. And and studies and research and everything else and evidence that it is very, very possible that in fact the number of people that have it grew by 25%. That's a huge number. Again, going back to these giant numbers. So it's definitely a possibility. But I am, again, agnostic as to where it is that you accumulate this amount of money. I am just advocating that it will take at least $1 million for you to be able to step away from full-time work. So I'll talk about why that is in just a second. So what does any of it have to do with you? Well, really nothing. These big statistics, stuff like that, statistics like the average 65-year-old, how much money do they have in their 401k is $232,000. The average income for an individual in the United States, probably around 35 grand, $70,000 for households. All these numbers, it has very little to do with you because it's not specific to you. What's important to you is how much money that you have saved. And fundamentally, you need a plan for making sure that you are going to get to where you want to go. So have an understanding of how much money is a lot of money. How much money do I need to have? Why do I need that much money saved? How am I going to ever make that happen? That's where just making a simple plan comes in. This is not a conversation about developing a financial plan. It's just a conversation about what and why $1 million is an interesting and valuable number to think about. So, do you want $1 million? Yeah, of course I do. Yes, please give me $1 million. But you don't really want $1 million in your 401k. You don't want $1 million of equity in your home. You want to have income. You want that. You want a machine that prints out 100 grand a year down in your basement. It just prints the money, hits your mailbox, however you want to think about it. That's why we like pensions so much. And why wouldn't we? Why wouldn't we? Why wouldn't we value a pension? Why wouldn't we, want to be a teacher or a police officer, or a firefighter? You get to retire and have a pension. Super, super awesome thing. You don't have to worry about investing the money or working for it. It just hits your checking account or your mailbox the same day every month. It's pretty awesome. That's what you want. We want money to hit my checking account or my mailbox same day every month. So I want whatever the number is, 100 grand for the rest of my life. Am I able to stop working? And how do I just know that this money is going to be there? That's what I'm talking about. So would $1 million do that? Maybe. Think about what happens when you win the lottery. Number one is you're shocked, you're super happy, and you freak out. And then I'm sure that somebody calls you or contacts you and they say, okay, how do you want this money? We can give you a lump sum, give you, if you want $1 billion, here's $500 million, or we can give you, $1 million for the rest of your life, every year for the rest of your life, guaranteed. Okay. So that is some kind of an annuity payout. And you could still take the lump sum and then buy an annuity or something like that. But that's really what the options, that's what the option is. And I sort of muddied the water on that one. Apologies. Thanks for tracking with me. If you just took your $1 million out of your 401k, essentially you won $1 million lottery, you pay tax on it if it's taxable, and then you have the money. Okay. Alternatively, you could say, you know what? I'm just interested in the annuity or the guaranteed lifetime income kind of alternative. And that's really what I'm advocating for. And I'm not advocating that you buy an annuity. That's not what this is. It's just, I want income. I don't want some asset. I want the ability to just know that I have income coming in. So that could be from owning rental properties and having people pay rent to me. It could be from dividends on stocks that I own. It could be, royalties, whatever. Just create a plan for making sure that you have that money coming in. The $1 million, if you were to take and invest it, and if you were to buy an annuity, maybe you can get $70,000 a year for the rest of your life. See, I landed the plane there eventually. Finally got around to it. You mix in a little Social Security, hopefully you're at $100,000. Okay. So that's why thinking about, do I want to be a millionaire? Do I need $1 million? How do I get that? How do I get that money? How do I make that happen? Okay. So how do we do that? Lots of ways. Again, go invest in Bitcoin, buy real estate, start a business, invest in the stock market. Doesn't matter to me. What's important is that you put a plan together and do it. So I think that a starting point there is, do you know anybody who's ever successfully done the thing that you're interested in doing? If you say, you know what, I do. I had a buddy that became a millionaire many times over from investing in Bitcoin. Okay. So you know that it can possibly, that it can happen. You know somebody that started a business and sold it. So they're very wealthy. Okay, great. So you know that it can happen. You've actually seen it happen. It's that whole, oh, you know what? I'll believe it when I see it, and I'll see it when I believe it. So our human brain needs to have examples of other human beings that have done the thing that we want to do. Think the 4-minute mile. When the first gentleman who broke the 4-minute mile, it was this Roger Bannister. It was this impossibility. And as soon as he did it, then dozens of people did it in the following year. And now lots of people do it all the time. So it is this barrier that we put on ourselves that we think that, okay, this is an impossibility. No human being can do this. They've never done it before. So you need to make sure that you believe that you are somebody who can have whatever that thing is, that $1 million. And articles like the Wall Street Journal is talking about how 25% more people now have $1 million in their retirement plan than did before. That's evidence that it is certainly possible. So, how to actually do it? How do you actually get to $1 million? And I'm just going to focus on slow and steady wins the race, tortoise over the hare in this one. So if you did want to actually contribute money into 401k or an IRA or something like that in an effort to save $1 million, how much would it take? And the answer is, believe it or not, the earlier you start, the easier it is to actually accomplish. So if we could all go whisper in our 25-year-old ear, say, hey, you need to be saving a little bit of money, it'll just really be a benefit to you long term. So unless you have a time machine, or if you are 20 years old or 15 or 35 or 25, whatever, this is awesome. You have the opportunity. Best time to plant a tree was 30 years ago. The next best time to plant a tree is, of course, today. So in an effort to save $1 million by the age of 67, if you were to get an 8% rate of return, and we can have an argument or a fist fight over whether or not that's a realistic thing or not, you make your plans, you adjust them. I'm just giving you examples. If you were to save $1 million, or if it was your desire to save $1 million at age 67, if you started at 25, you would only need to save $263 a month. Super doable. By that number, anybody can become a millionaire. If you waited till 35, the number jumps up to $595 a month. If you waited till 45, it jumps to $1,400 a month. And if you waited till 55, it jumps all the way to $4,211 a month. So, like all things in life, as we get older, they just become harder to achieve. It becomes harder to lose 100 pounds. It becomes harder to save a bunch of money. So the earlier, the better. Why not just take big cuts at it? Why not, that tortoise thing? It's stupid. I'm more of a hare anyway. I like to run fast. I like to go. Get it. Appreciate that. I like to run fast too. You know who else likes to run fast? My two boys. They're super fast. Super fast. I totally get it. I talk about gold, silver, and bronze rules of personal finance a lot. Gold is to pay yourself first. So that's really getting in the habit of saving money. And that could be, again, in any bucket of money that you want: real estate, stock market, precious metals, businesses. I don't care. Start saving money and start doing that. Make that your number one priority, is that you are saving money for your benefit and not for the benefit of somebody else. Number two is stay out of debt. And that doesn't mean don't have a home loan or take out a business loan. It just means stay out of credit card debt. Number three is diversify. Take a diversified approach to achieving your financial objectives. Super boring. Blah. But I just told you, if you started saving $250 a month at 25, you would have $1 million. And that all that is just boring. Slow and steady wins the race, a little bit at a time. Taking advantage of the power of compound interest, tax deferred growth, all these brilliant things. Okay. So here's what I am saying to you, is that I want you to make a plan and plan to achieve your financial objectives using that slow and steady approach. Make a plan, begin executing on your plan. Once you have once you are doing all the things that it will take to achieve the goal that you want to achieve by the date or age that you want to achieve it at. So you say, I want to have $1 million by age 60 and I'm saving $1,000 a month. Based on my numbers, I'm going to get there. Great. Now that you've done that, you're saving for a kid's education, you bought a home, you're saving, you are executing on your plan, then it's time to let it rip. Talk about how you have written yourself a permission slip to now be able to move beyond that diversified approach and to start taking more concentrated positions in different investments. So instead of putting all your money into Bitcoin, make sure that you are doing and funding your retirement and your other financial objectives through a diversified approach, like mutual funds or exchange traded funds or something boring and low cost like that. Once you've done that, then start going and buying Bitcoin, Dogecoin, individual stocks, gold, whatever. Make you understand what I'm trying to say. So take a big step back so you have clear perspective. Here's what I want. Here's the time horizon for when I want these things. Here's what I want. And I'm going to be saving consistently on a monthly basis in order to get there. And I don't know what's going to happen, but we let the chips fall where they may. I assume that if I keep doing this thing and get this result, that at the age that I want it, it's going to be there. Success. You've written yourself a permission slip, then go let it rip. Okay? Make a plan. Really, any plan will do. You make it, though. If you want a little bit of help or resources, check out some financial coaching. Just make sure you're on the right path. I think that that's a cool new discipline that we have. We've been doing it for years, but we've been doing a lot more of it over the last couple of years. So I'll put a link in the comments, or the notes rather, if you're interested in checking that out. And then if you're interested in a little bit of guidance on how to create that plan and create that vision for your future, check out the Purpose Book. I will put a link to find that in the comments as well. The notes, I'll put them everywhere. I will just put it all over the place. So as always, do your part by doing your best.